everyone, welcome back to my channel. Okay, you guys need to stop wasting hours watching 5 different videos and still not understanding retrofit because this is the only video you will ever need to understand retrofit in the simplest language possible, with real life examples and a project too. Whether you're a student just starting Android or a developer who has always avoided APIs because you felt too complex, trust me, after this video you'll say retrofit is actually easy. I'll explain everything step by step, so by the end of this video you won't just know retrofit but you will feel confident using it in your own projects. So if you want to master retrofit once and for all, this is the video you cannot afford to skip. I already have few videos explaining retrofit, but none of them are with Jetpack Compose, so here we are. Also, as per your demand, I'll be covering all advanced topics of Android development. We will also be exploring other topics like interview questions, my Android journey, or the mistakes that I made in my engineering days, etc. So stay tuned. Now coming back to retrofit, the best way to understand a topic is to create a project on it, and that's what we are going to do. So open Android Studio, choose the empty views activity, name the project, learn Retrofit JC, and click on Finish. Till the Gradle is building, let me explain you what is Retrofit. Retrofit is a library that is used for making network requests and handling API communication in applications. It's like a tool that helps your app talk to the internet and get or send data easily. This is our bookish definition. Let me tell you what exactly retrofit is in my style. Consider I am creating a cab booking app like Ola, Uber, where I need a map feature. So I have two options: to create my own map API, which is kind of complicated, but there's an easy way, that is to simply use a third-party API in my applications, like Google Maps API, which has tons of location data of roads and places. But what is an API? API stands for Application Programming Interface. It's like a helper that allows different applications to communicate with each other, enabling developers like us to utilize the feature from the external services within our own applications. Google Maps API is an external service provided by Google, which we can use in our application. It's like my application and Google Maps application are communicating with each other via API. And all of this communication is handled by Retrofit. The APIs can be free or paid. We have several APIs like News API, Weather API, ChatGPT API, Spotify API, Nutrition Food API, and Movies API, and many more. This API connects you to data, but it's not the data itself. Remember that. I'll give you one more example. If you search for a place in Google Maps, that same place might not be available on Instagram location because Instagram don't use Google Maps API. It uses a different API known as Mapbox API for the maps. Hence, you may not find that particular place on Instagram. Also, APIs can provide real-time data if your app requests updates continuously. Like consider I'm creating a news application where I will use the News API. Hence, I'll keep getting all the latest news in my app, right? Who handles all of this API request and communication? Retrofit, correct. Now, the rest of the theory we will understand while creating the project. The first step is to add dependencies. Hence, add these 4 dependencies. I'll mention them in the description box. We will handle errors in the view model. Retrofit for handling API. Then JSON converter turns the JSON data from the internet into object that our app can use. I'll explain it to you in detail later. Then lastly, coroutines let your app ask for data from the internet without freezing or slowing down the app. Got it? Click on sync now and done. Then, as we are dealing with APIs and networks, which ultimately means we are dealing with the internet, we need permission to use the internet. Hence, we go to AndroidManifest and ask for internet permission. Next, we need an API. So, we are creating a very simple project just to understand how retrofit works. Hence, I'll be using a simple free fake API. In my previous video, I have used Google Maps API, News API, Weather API. You can check those videos in the description box. Those were free as well as paid. The free ones come with limited features or a time period. Like you can use Google Maps API for free, but for more features you need to upgrade it, which is pretty expensive. Now, this is a very popular website for a free fake API. jsonplaceholder.typecode.com. I'll drop the link in the description box. This is a good website for people who want to learn retrofit. See, here we have 6 APIs: posts, comments, albums, photos, to-dos, and users. You can use any one of them. In the previous video, I used album, so this time I'll be using post. It has 100 posts. This is our data. It's in a different language, so don't mind that. Now let me explain what's happening here. This is our JSON data. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It's basically a format in which the data is stored. This is our data, right? See, a post has a user ID, a title, a body. It also has an ID for uniqueness. But you will be wondering, why is it stored like this? It's so confusing, right? Let me make it simple for you by explaining the JSON syntax. Once you know the JSON syntax, all of this will make sense. See, this square bracket is an array that starts here. Let me go to the end of the page and it ends here. Inside an array, we have objects. This curly brackets, to be precise, we have 100 posts, meaning 100 objects separated by a comma. The object contains keys and values. The user ID is a key and 10 is a value. Likewise, we have ID, title, and body with their respective values. Below it, we have another object with the same keys but different values, and so on. Now, the problem is that our data is in JSON format, which is difficult to understand by humans themselves. So imagine how difficult it will be to understand for machines. This one looks easy because it has only 4 key values, but there are objects with 20-30 key values that become difficult for machine to understand. Hence, we convert them into Java or Kotlin objects using tools like JSON. Remember the JSON converter dependency we used at the start in Gradle? Yes, that will help us parse the JSON format into Kotlin objects. Parse means to change data into something that your app can understand. Got it? Now come back to Android Studio. Here we need the data class that contains keys. We can manually create one, but a simpler and a smarter way to do is to get a plugin called Kotlin data class file from JSON. Let me quickly show you how to install it. Go to Settings, Plugins. In the Marketplace, search for Kotlin data class file from JSON and install it. I already have it. So right click, New, and see, we have a Kotlin data file from JSON. This will appear only if that plugin is installed. Here, paste the object, give your class name, post, and click on Generate. Look, the plugin creates a data class post automatically with all the keys and the respective data types. Again, as I said, you can create it manually also if the object has fewer keys like this one. But if it has 20-30 keys, you can't keep writing each one of them, right? Hence, in such a case, a plugin is useful. Understood? See, we have a body, ID, title, and user ID. Next, how do we retrieve it? This is where the API comes into the picture. So create an interface, APIService. Here comes one more concept, that is REST API. So REST stands for Representational State Transfer. It's a part of API that basically has a set of HTTP-based protocols that defines how system can communicate over the internet. They use HTTP methods or annotations like get, post, put, delete, and many more. Get retrieves the data from the server, post sends data to the server, put updates the existing data on the server, delete removes the data from the server, and query is used when we have to specify a particular parameter. As we want to retrieve the data from the servers, we will be using the get annotation. But we also need to mention from which server we need to get the data, right? So look carefully. This is our website URL. Till here is our base URL. And after this, we have an endpoint URL. So JSON placeholder.typicode.com is our base or main URL, and post is our endpoint URL. Hence, whenever we get the data, we get it from the endpoint URL. Remember that always. So write post here, then create a suspend function, get post, that will return at the end a list of post. Basically, it will return all of this in a list data type. Next, we need to initialize retrofit. So to do that, create an object class, RetrofitInstance. Here we need to specify the base URL. So copy and paste it. Currently, we are using a free fake API, hence we don't have any API key. But when you create real projects, we will specify our API key here using query annotation. It's a confidential key, do not share it with anyone. I have created news app, weather app, Google Maps using API key. You can check them in the description box. But I'll make sure to create a project using API key in Jetpack Compose also. Next, create a variable API of type APIService using by lazy. It tells Kotlin to wait until the first time you use API before running the code inside the braces. This saves memory and avoids doing work until it's needed. Inside it, we will create a retrofit object, set the base URL, then use JSON to automatically convert JSON responses from the server into Kotlin objects, which our app can use, and then finish it using build. Next, create an implementation of the API service interface. So now you can call its function like getPost to make an API request easily. Next, we need to call the server, so create a class PostRepository. The PostRepository class acts as a middle layer between your app and the API, keeping your network calls organized and separate from the UI. Inside it, create a suspend function getPost, which is marked as suspend so it can run asynchronously using coroutines without freezing the app. This function also returns a list of posts. When getPost is called, it simply uses RetrofitInstance.api.getPost to fetch the list of posts from the API and return it. Next, we are dealing with the internet, the network, hence there are chances of errors happening, right? Hence it's important to handle errors in retrofit. So to do that, create a class PostViewModel. Here create a sail class above the PostViewModel class. A sail class is a special type of class that restricts which classes can inherit from it, making it perfect for representing a fixed set of possible states. In our UI state, it represents the different states of the UI when fetching post. For example, loading, which means the data is still being fetched. Success contains the actual list of posts received from the API. An error contains a message describing what went wrong. Then PostViewModel extends ViewModel. The PostViewModel class acts as a bridge between your UI and the data layer. It creates a post repository to fetch posts from the API and maintain a UI state to represent the current state of the UI. Internal state is a mutable state holding the current UI status, such as loading, success, or error, while state exposes it as an immutable state for the UI to observe. Then create a fetch post function which runs a coroutine on the ViewModel scope.launch. So the network call happens asynchronously. First, it sets the state to loading, then tries to fetch the post from the repository. If successful, it updates the state to success with the list of posts. If an error occurs, it updates the state to error with an error message. Then above the fetch post function, create an init block. The init block runs automatically when the class is created to initialize things or start actions. In our case, fetch post is called automatically when the view model is created. Now, the last part is to display using Jetpack Compose. So go to main activity, remove the default code. Here create 3 functions. 1 for loading, 2 for error, and 3 for the post list. Make all of them composable. Let's design them. Also, before designing, I want to clear this. If I want, I can create beautiful UIs, but that will take a lot of time and it will stretch the video. Hence, I keep UIs pretty simple because you are not a UI UX designer, you are a developer. Hence, I want you to focus on the logical part. But if you want, I can create a separate video on how to create beautiful UIs in Jetpack Compose. Okay? Now let's design the loading view. The loading view is nothing but a simple progress indicator that shows a loading icon while fetching the post. So create a box with fill max size, modifier, content alignment, a center. Inside the box, create a circular progress indicator, and that's it. Likewise, we will create UI for error as well. But here, instead of loading, we will display an error message, the message from the PostViewModel. Hence, a message parameter whose data type is string. Inside it, create a box with fill max size, content alignment as center, then a text that displays the error message with red color. Next, let's create the UI to display post. So we have 2 parameters, list of post and a modifier. We will display the list using a lazy column. Lazy column acts like a recycler view. The lazy column is fill max size and 8 dp padding. Then to display each items of the list, we will use items. Make sure you use the correct list import, otherwise it will show error. The items includes post, create a post variable for it. We will display the title and the body of the post only. Both of them will be text only, but to make the UI look more appealing, I will create a card whose modifier is fill max width and padding is 6 dp. Then elevation is 6 dp. Next, the card color is white. Now, inside the card, create a column whose padding is 12 dp. Inside the column, create a text that displays the post title whose color is red and style is title medium with a font weight as bold. Below it, a horizontal divider with 6 dp vertical padding. Again, a text that displays post body whose style is body medium and color is black. Now, next, create a new composable function, post screen, that will display the screen state according to the current state. For example, if an error occurred, then this error UI will be displayed and respectively. The current state will be decided by the view model. Hence, add it as a parameter and also add a modifier. Then, it first gets the current UI state using PostViewModel.state.value. Then with a when statement, it decides what to show. If the state is loading, it shows a loading view. If it's success, it passes the list of posts to the post list for display. And if it's error, it shows an error view with the error message. This approach ensures the UI automatically reacts to changes in the state, making it clean and easy to manage different scenarios. Lastly, call everything inside the main activity class. The main activity is the entry point of the app where the UI is set up using Jetpack Compose. Inside onCreate, set content defines the whole UI with the app theme applied. A surface fills the screen and a scaffold provides a structure. Inside the top app bar, write the title, My Post. Styled in title large, font weight bold and color white. I will give the top app bar background color as red. add experimental API. Then inside the scaffold, inner padding, it calls the post screen. First, create a post view model using by view models. So the data survives configuration changes like screen rotation. Then pass the post view model and padding. And that's it. Our app built using Retrofit is ready. Now let's run the app. This is what it looks like. Very simple UI, but consider the fact that we were successfully able to fetch data from the API and display it in our app. See, this is the title and this is the body of the post. Great! Likewise, you can try on your own with another API using the same logic. I tried my best to explain Retrofit in a very simple language, but now we are increasing our level, hence more advanced topics will be covered in the upcoming videos. Okay? So yeah, that's it for the video. If you are new to this channel, then please consider subscribing to my channel and I'll see you in the next video.